Often when patients have to tell someone ancillary in their life that they have breast cancer, it might be a neighbour, it might be someone at the schoolyard, they're met with the face, and the face says, oh my God, I don't know what to say to you. And the face means that that woman now has to almost apologise for her breast cancer, to feel bad that the person she's told feels bad. And what the Future Dreams is part of is a place that women who have breast cancer, who've had breast cancer, they can go and they don't have to be faced with the face. Now, when I tell people what I do for a living, I get a small micro version of the face. And that means, oh my God, how depressing, why do you do that? And I get to challenge it because I have an amazing job. I can honestly tell you I have never been bored a day in my life. I get to meet extraordinary women every single day. And these are people having a really tough time. They've had to put up with some new experience. It's dreadful, it's uninvited, it's unexpected, and it's taking over their already complicated lives. And so they start off, and reasonably and sensibly, they're fearful. And even if they're not fearful, they're full of questions. Questions about treatment, questions about prognosis. Now, I don't want to talk today about treatment because for every woman it's different. But just to say that everybody suffers something when they're told they have breast cancer. It's not breast cancer light if you didn't need chemo. There's no sense at which you had an easy ride. But despite all of the difficulties that women have to go through, I want them to come out the other end better than they were at the start. And for women to be able to say that they've become the best version of themselves after breast cancer, that's the most important focus of what you're doing here today. Making space for women to live well, to love well, and be the best version of themselves that they can be after breast cancer. Now, Jackie laughs at me because when I first met her, I said, you know, sometimes breast cancer helps people do positive things. I will say Jackie's husband was not in the room when I said, you know, sometimes they find things in their lives they don't like and they get rid of them. Now, it's not that I'm suggesting a diagnosis of breast cancer is a good time to quit your job, move house, and get rid of your partner, but that sense that life isn't infinite, that notion of mortality being shaken in front of you, it can be empowering, and it can propel women to make choices that, frankly, they've been coasting along needing to make, and suddenly they have to do it. But every woman is part of a community. And people think that their friends and their family will be amazing and brilliant and they're going to sail through the treatment. But it's actually the hidden gems in life that surprise. The neighbour who comes and cleans out a grotty fridge. It can be someone who's come and changed your bed linen that you frankly didn't expect that they would do it. But all of these communities are enhanced by having a support centre where people can go and learn from each other's experience. The NHS can't do everything. It's a stretched organisation. Medicine is for medicine and isn't always available to help people get through and move beyond the medical treatment. And so the Future Dreams House is a way where people can harness that peer support and help each other to get over it. You know, women must always return to their treating team, to people like Joe Franks and Alison Jones, when they have a medical concern, when they feel that there's something wrong and they need help to tease it out. And some people, their struggle is so great that they need really, really focused psychological support. But for most women, a hospital is not what they need when they're moving on. What they need is a place where they can be supported. And returning to a hospital environment sometimes can return a woman to being a patient. She has to adopt the sick role again. She's sitting in a hospital waiting room, perhaps somewhere with negative associations where previously she's had bad news. But with your help, there will be a better place for women to come and voice their concerns. Women like to talk, women like to share. And a calm, positive environment where women can come together and help each other recover, where crucially, nothing bad happens. Nobody's given bad news. Nobody has to accept something unpleasant. Joe Franks is going to touch on survivorship later, but what I wanted you to really get a sense of is that transition, the transition from being a patient, from being an ill woman with a disease, to being just a woman who once had breast cancer. That's what the Future Dreams House can offer. And so the best outcome of a diagnosis of breast cancer isn't just that a woman survives, but perhaps that she may have learned something about herself as a result of her illness. And what she's learned is there and available for others who come after her. I do try and support my patients, but I get asked questions on a weekly basis that I have no notion how to answer. You know, I've just started a new job. Can they fire me because of my breast cancer? Do I really have to tell all the other parents at the school? Or recently, what are the rules around dating? I don't know what the rules are in disclosure. Apparently it's the third date you need to tell someone that you've had breast cancer. But a PopUp Center has countless functions. It just is that space where women can respond to questions like this and be supported by other women who've had similar dilemmas. You know, breast cancer doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care whether somebody is rich or poor, but something like the Future Dreams House is a way of bringing women together who might otherwise not have met and finding new ways to support themselves. You know, from the woman who's struggling to find the bus fare to get to the centre, she needs support, to the woman who just feels she can't lay it on her family anymore, that they look at her and say, but breast cancer was last year's problem, you've moved on, you're better, we shouldn't have to keep on supporting you. But she needs more, but feels sometimes that she can't ask for it. And for that woman, there will always be space. People talk a lot about a positive mental attitude. Well, I'll tell you one thing, it doesn't kill cancer cells, that's for sure. But what it can do is it can give people the tools and the resilience to get through the treatment, to get past the horrible treatment, and to move back to the person that they want to be. And so this support centre will provide a forum in which women can just move forward, and probably most importantly, they don't have to feel that they're doing it on their own. For some women that I look after, breast cancer, believe it or not, is not the worst thing that's happened in her life. I have a woman at the moment who's got metastasized breast cancer, and her family are on their uppers. They're living temporarily in a B&B, and it's not likely that she's going to be rehoused in her lifetime. And her husband goes to work, her children go to school, and she's left alone without an environment that makes her feel good. I'm not going to pretend that the Future Dreams House is going to sort out all of these social problems and make things better. But a couple of hours where she can concentrate on her, maybe have a massage, something as silly as a new headscarf that might be meaningless in the grand scheme of things, but actually it gives her some space and time to focus on her. Just a couple of hours a week, that means she feels a little bit special. It then helps her to be resilient and deal with all the other things that are still there when she gets home. And all of these small little things that can be done make a really big difference to a woman in the aftermath of breast cancer treatment. Now, I know this is very plush and a very lovely afternoon, but I want to reassure you that not a penny of the money that you pledge today will go wasted. It might seem nebulous, this idea of a space where women can be supported, but if what you've pledged today makes a small change for just one person, then that is an amazing amount of money that you've spent. I never met the founders of this charity, and I've been privileged this afternoon to meet some of their family members. But I know that support for other women with breast cancer was at the forefront of their minds when they established Future Dreams. So I'd like to introduce a short film about Sylvie and Danielle. And this is a film that will give us all some insight into their vision for Future Dreams, and I suppose explain the strength and the inspiration that the tight committee are using to move forward and support the charity in their name. Thank you.